Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 23rd episode of Nina and Knitting. My name is Nina, and I live in Jyväskylä in central Finland with my husband, our two kids, and a dog. I'm not on Instagram, but you can find me on Ravelry as Ninima, and we also have a Ravelry group for the podcast that's called Nina and Knitting Podcast. You can find it by searching the Groups tab or by clicking on the link down below here on YouTube that'll lead you to the episode thread with show notes. Today is Saturday, September, I think it's 16th. Sorry. I'm on my way home. I've been working in a dog show today as a ring steward, ring secretary, and it's been quite a cold day just sitting there. I have my light winter coat on and I did have a blanket, but anyway, I was more or less shivering all day. Let's see how this goes. I am testing a new microphone and I just noticed that this wind gets to it pretty badly. So let's hope we don't get that much wind because there isn't much I can do about it. And I have a tripod. It's not a very sturdy one, but we'll see what happens. I'm really just winging it today. I have no show notes. I was supposed to make some yesterday, but I was just so tired after coming home from work and after we had got something to eat and so forth, and I just sat there scrolling my phone. So actually where I am at, it's not a forest. Well, it'll be a forest in some years. It's more or less a field at the moment where they have planted some fir trees. And I'm just here sitting in the middle of it. And there was a bird somewhere. And there are these, I don't know, plants. I hope that they don't distract the camera too much. We've had some unsteady weather today. The sun's sort of behind the clouds just at the moment, but we'll see. We had some rain showers, and I just hope I'll get this recorded before it starts to rain. It's been a busy week for me. Like I said last time, I think I started work this Monday. It's been really fun, really great seeing colleagues again and meeting new people and seeing some people that I already know, and meeting them again. So new students and old students, but it's been very, very tiring also. Yes, that's it, I think. I really can't see the screen at all. I can see my profile or the shape where I am, but we'll see what this brings. It's not very easy at the moment, but like I said, I don't think I'd have time to record tomorrow, and next week I will be busy, so I'm just gonna do it now, see what happens, and I hope that next time I will be able to be better prepared and maybe in a better location and then wiser about how this mic works and how to work the tripod and all that. Yeah. that it? Welcome, everybody. Old and new, well, new viewers and returning viewers. And let's get this show started. I have absolutely no FOs today. I really was hoping that I would, but I don't. I only have whips, and then I have some acquisitions. And last time I said that I would do a small sort of presentation on Novita yarns, but I don't now. I will do it in a later episode because just didn't have time to do it. Yes, the giveaways I have already sent, and I hope that they will reach their destinations in the not so distant future. Yeah, but my first whip is in this wonderful project bag that I got last year from Skein Charmer, I think. It was for a knit along for the coffee cantata socks, and you know, there's coffee and then there are notes, so coffee cantata. And the whip that I have in here, last time I recorded, I was waiting for the last stage of the tour de sock to start. And while I was waiting, of course, I needed to start a new project, a new pair of socks. Sock Knitters Anonymous have a September mystery sock, and the designer is Heidi, and I just had to cast it on. The yarn I'm using is a wonderful bright yellow color. I have shown it as a skein last winter or spring. So this is showing there. This is Rouva Silmusolmu Merino Sukkis. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 400 meters in 100 grams. And the colorway is called Aurinko, the sun. And this is what I have. So, yeah, mystery sock, but I've only done clue 1 and clue 3 has already been released yesterday. So I don't think I'll have something that other people who are doing the mystery sock don't have already. So can I see it? No, really poorly. Yes, well, it's a Heidi pattern with cables and beads, and I totally love it. I really can't see on the screen at all, but I'm hoping you can. Let's take this cable nail off. So this is the front, of course, this way around. And it is amazing. I'm knitting it 2 at a time on my Knit Pro Symphony Circs. And, you know, there's this wonderful cable stuff going on in the front, and then you have some beads. Mine are sort of silver colored. The center is silver. And then on the back, there's some other cables, and then this sort of fun grid or net or whatever. I like it. I really think this one is really fun. I hope you can see it because I really can't see what I have on the screen. Oh, so, okay. So this experiment with the tripod is not a success, but whatever. So I have completed clue 1. Actually, I have already started clue 2 with the gusset increases, but I'm not very far off. So this is something I will continue today because the tuolusok is over for this year, so no pressure from there anymore. So I can start knitting something enjoyable, relaxing, and beautiful. Well, I'll talk about the last stage in a minute. I'll save it for last. But yes, this is a Heidi knit pattern. Does have a name, something about teddies, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. I'll put it on the screen. I love it. Yeah, that's it. And these are 3.0 millimeter needles, so that's a US size 2.5. That's what I use for fingering weight yarn when I'm knitting socks. That's my first work in progress. The second one, yeah, maybe I'll show the blanket stuff. So last time, sorry for the crinkling, last time I showed you some Kalevala blankets, Kalevala crochet along blanket, or the start of it. Oh, the wind is gonna really distract the mic, or really you can hear it too well. Anyway, this is where I was last time. This is the first square, and I finished it. This is from the yarn is Many Talas, something I've never worked with before, but it's a normal 75% wool, 25% nylon sort of yarn, quite a thick one. I think it's Aran weight or something. I forgot to check. Yeah, so this is the first square, and this one is called Ilmatar. It's one of the characters in the Kalevala, and it's not epos in English, it's epic. Sorry. Sorry, non-native English speaker here. So this is the national epic, the Finnish national epic Kalevala, and this Ilmatar is one of the characters in it. And then there is the second one, which is Sotkan pesä in Finnish, and that's a nest of a bird. I did see what the name was in English, but I forgot. I'll put it on the screen perhaps. So these are the eggs, and here's the nest. And this was quite fun to crochet because it looked more complicated than it really was. So it was pretty fun to do this. Yeah. I only have 2 squares done because I was trying to do the 6th stage for the tuolusok. Then my third work in progress, last weekend. Oh, the sun came out. Last weekend, I was working in the Pyrenean Mastiff specialty show, and it's so warm. Yeah, and I was invited for the dinner afterwards. And since it was in Lauka, which is not far from Jyväskylä, but still, I estimated that the show would end maybe at around 4 or 5, and the dinner was at 7 p.m. So it wasn't worth it, driving home and then getting back to the place where the dinner was. So I took my knitting with me. The Heidi knit socks were a bit too much. I didn't want to play with my iPad, and so I took the sweater, the Yin Yang Dance sweater, and I got quite a bit done because I was there like a couple of hours. This is the first sleeve, and you may remember that last time I had done some of it. But actually, then I realized that there was an error in the pattern of the sleeves. It said, you know, doing that in the beginning, you do the purl rounds, a couple of rounds of purling, and then start this ribbing, and then you would continue without decreases a certain number of rows. And at one point it said rows like 4 to 36, no, 26, yeah, 4 to 26, or 4 to 30, continue the ribbing, and then it said for another 16 rounds. So it was like 10 rounds less than actually in the beginning, like from rows 4 to 30. So that makes 26. And at first I thought maybe I could just leave it at that. But then I actually decided that an extra 10 rows of the rib without decreases would be actually kind of nice. So I ripped it back. I ripped it all back, and or well, not all, but I ripped it back to where I had started doing decreases, and then I continued without decreases some 10 more rows or so, and then I did the decreases, and then I finished the sleeve. I have tried it on, and as you can see, it looks really, really narrow. Of course it is, but it's supposed to be tight-fitting. The sleeves are tight-fitting. The body of the sweater is more loose, has more positive ease. Yeah, anyway, so I have tried it on, and yes, it does fit my arm. Then there is just this little cabling motif. Maybe you can see it here before the cuff. That's really nice. That's a really nice detail, I think. I love it. The yarn I'm using is Pâte de Velours Féline DK Crazy. Yeah, crazy. And the colorway is Bloody Cardamine. And I really like it. It is just so pretty. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, so I have finished one sleeve, and then I have started the second one, and I have started doing the decreases here. I'm using my DPNs for the sleeves. These are 4.0 millimeter DPNs, which means a US size 6, and these are the short ones. I think it's like maybe 6 inches, 6 or 7 inches long. Yeah, that's what I've done with this sweater, and I really, really can't wait to get it finished. It's wonderful, and it's starting to be cold enough to be wearing DK weight sweaters, at least for me, because I tend to get cold very, very easily. Yeah, that's the one, the whips that I am working on, and that I will continue to be working on. But then there is the notorious stage 6 of the Tour de Soc. I said last time that that people had been hinting that it'll be, how shall we put it, challenging. You were supposed to have 4 colors for it: main color, a contrasting color, and then 2 highlighting colors. And I started it. It is here with me. It's a pattern by Kristen Hall, I think. And I have it tangled here. This is what I've done. This is where I got in, is it 10 days or so, the length of one stage. Oh, I've lost some stitches, but that really doesn't matter at all because I will be ripping this. I'll be frogging this. So let's start with the yarns. The yarns. This green yarn here is Automester. And the colorway is number 1024. It's a fingering weight yarn, 75% virgin wool, 25% polyamide. That's the main color. The contrasting color is the yellow one, and that's the same yarn but in color 1014. And they're fine. The colors and the yarns are fine. This beige is, I don't have the ball band with me, but it's the Altekunste Sockenwolle 420, and the colorway is called Sand. That's my highlights number 2, and number 1 is somewhere here. That's the Fable. This pink. So this is Drops Fable in colorway 109. So this hot pink color. And so the knitting this pattern is called Vertigo 2.0, was very, very time consuming. You're always using, well, almost always using at least, 3 colors, and then when you get to the heel, you're supposed to take in the 4th one. So very complicating, very fiddly. I've said it before that I'm not an experienced color work knitter. Is that a word? It is now. And it was very, very difficult. At first I thought, well, I'll just push through, and I'll at least finish one sock before deadline. But then, nah, I just decided it's not worth it. You're using these jacquard floats, so this is the wrong side of the sock, or the leg of the sock. You're using jacquard floats. Let's see, this way around. And this was an interesting technique. I've never done it before. It does give the color work a lot of stretch. So it's a very good technique. And I will, if I start doing color work projects, then I will have to consider using it later on. But okay, so this sock is very, very thick. You're using 3 strands of yarn, so it's more than a DK weight sock. And yeah, I know that blocking would even it out, but I just don't like it. And it's a huge amount of work for something that I just don't consider to be worth it. It's not my favorite kind of pattern. So I have now shown it to you. I have taken a photo of it in the projects, and then I'm gonna rip it out, and I'm gonna use the yarns for something better, because yeah, well, anyway, so doing this makes me feel very frustrated, feeling like a failure, total failure, because well, okay, it's just knitting. It's not the end of the world. That's not it. But I did fail dual sock this year, totally, because I didn't finish one of the stages. I did last year. I finished all the 6 stages in time before deadline. Some of the patterns were more difficult than others last year, this year also, but this year the last stage just defeated me. But I'm not alone in this. There are a huge amount of people who didn't even try it, didn't even start it after seeing the pattern because it was so complicated. Um, and then there are many people who couldn't finish it. I think, well, the stage ended yesterday, and I didn't check, but I think there are maybe 50 pairs completed in the allotted time frame. So 50 out of, I think there were 1,600 people who had signed for it for the Turvasok this year. So that's quite a small amount of people who were able to finish it on time. I'm not one of them, and I do take my hat off to everybody who did. And yeah, that's it. Well, anyway, actually, when I had decided that no, I won't be able to finish even one sock, it sort of eased some of the stress, and it's really stupid to get stressed out over knitting. So it's all for the best, I think. Yeah. And now I'll just knit other stuff instead. Yeah. So that's all my knitting and the one that will be frogged. Whew. I can't see the time, but I'm pretty sure I've been rushing. It's getting cold. As you notice, I think the sun's not out anymore. So there are quite ominous clouds in the sky. So I'm gonna try and speed it up just to get it finished. So my acquisitions, I have a few. No, not a lot, but a few. This is something, since I have this self-rewarding system figured out for myself for the Tuola sock, that if I finish a pair, I can buy a skein of yarn or 100 grams of yarn. And I also already bought one skein, and since I finished five pairs during the tour, that'll make 400 grams of yarn that I can buy as a reward. I do buy yarn just because I want to, but this is just actually kind of like a reward for myself. So I'm knitting or going to knit a scarf for my mom, and I got some yarn for it. First of all, there is this Walk collection yarn. This is 100% merino, single ply, as you can see. I hope, not sure, but I hope you can. And the colorway is strawberry cheesecake, and it's got all these pinks and some sort of ochre or yellow, orange yellow, and some darker red. It is just beautiful. It's 100 grams and 366 meters. So I'm really the type of the yarn is called cozy merinos. It's 100% merino single ply. This is gonna be great with another yarn. This is silk BC Garn Silk Plume Fino. Yeah, you can see that. This is a little different. It's, I think, a 2-ply. It looks like a 2-ply, sort of loosely plied. There are about 200 meters in this 50-gram ball. I have 2. And this colorway is number 04. Yeah. And this is 45% Mulberry silk, 55% super soft merino wool. As you can see in here, I believe you can see it. And these are gonna be a scarf. I don't remember the name anymore. It's in my queue at the moment, I think. Yes, it is in my queue. I'll show it in whips next time, I think. So this is one of the acquisitions. 200 grams of yarn for the scarf. 2 balls of this, and then this 100-gram skein. And then there's something that was just a spur of the moment kind of thing to buy. So like I said, I was in the Pyrenean Mastiff specialty show last Saturday, and I was they had a sponsor for the show, several ones, but one of them was this yarn company, maybe, well, entrepreneur, maybe more, who uses dog hair and wool for yarn. So I have dog hair yarn. This is 40% Pyrenean Mastiff undercoat, or I think undercoat, well, either one, just Pyrenean Mastiff coat fur, and 60% sheep. These are all natural colors. They haven't been dyed at all. So there is this sort of natural white color, and they smell really, really sheepy. There's this color. Then there is this sort of grayish color. There's about 160 grams in each skein. I don't know how many meters, but it's pretty thick. I'd say about iron weight. And then there is a third colorway, this brownish thing, and there's no nylon in it, so maybe I won't make any socks out of these. I was thinking about hats, but the smell is pretty intense. It may get better once you wash it, but I'll have to see. These would be really, really warm hats, beanies, and mittens too. So I just might, during my own knit along, which I'll be talking about in just a sec, I might knit some hats for myself, because I'm not sure if the others, my other family members, would wear them because of the smell. But maybe I'll just make one for myself, and then oh, they do feel very lanolin-y. Oh, very nice. Yes, so those are an acquisition I just got this week. Great. Is that everything? I think it is. Okay, so the knit along. I haven't planned it. But like I said last time, So if this is the 16th or something, let's start it right away. So starting from now, a knit along for beanies, and I I thought we could use, like I said, I'm not on Instagram, but if you want to, you can use the same hashtag on Instagram. I just won't be able to see the photos. But for your project on Ravelry, maybe you might want to use the hashtag hats all folks, and I'll put it on the screen. So hats all folks, knit along. Let's not put the KAL at the end. Just hats all folks. Yeah, starting from now, beanies, hats, whatever, um, for adults and children alike. I'm not picky. If you want to crochet, why not? If you want to crochet beanies or hats, yeah, sure, why not? You can all enter them into this CAL. Starting from now, the end is at the end of November, and that'll give myself some time to get a couple of beanies done, because I'm planning to knit some for my nieces for their Christmas presents. Yeah, so that's it. I will have some prizes. I just thought that maybe I haven't purchased anything yet. Maybe a DK weight yarn and then a fingering weight too. Does that sound okay? And of course, if anybody wants to donate something for prizes, then yes, they're welcome. Please contact me via Ravelry. But otherwise, it'll be 2 skeins of yarn, one for one DK weight and one fingering weight yarn, without nylon this time, because it's gonna be for hats or whatever you want to do it. But without nylon, and like I said, I haven't purchased it, and I'm just gonna hit the stores maybe between now and next time I record. Yeah, that's for the knit along. If you have any questions, by the time this gets on YouTube, I will have started a thread for the knit along, and just as I did last time, there's only going to be one thread for the knit along. You can chat all the way you want, how much you want to, and then post pictures of the finished beanies in the thread. No whips allowed this time because it's just a beanie. I'm sure you can all whip up some beanies in an evening. so this time no whips allowed. And yeah, that's it for me. Okay, so the camera or the tablet agrees. I'll have to wrap it up and get going because it stopped recording just now. Yeah, so please hit subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me some comments either in the Ravelry group in the episode thread or here on YouTube, and I'll respond to them if I can, if you're asking me something. And of course, there's an Ask Me Anything thread on the Ravelry group, so you can go ahead and ask me something in there. When I stop filming this, I will do a 360 round where I am sitting at the moment. And when I get home, I'll take the dog for a walk, and then I'll just film a small bit somewhere, and you will have seen it at the beginning of this episode. Yeah. Okay. I hope I'll see you again in a couple of weeks. And until then, I hope you all have a lovely time and get some comfortable knitting done. So take care. Bye.